And I think it's terrible when we can't know the results of an election the night of the election in a modern day age of computer. I think it's a terrible thing.
And why are we in such a rush to finish this election prematurely? Let's be patient. Let's take a deep breath. Let's count every legal vote. I think it's a time to be methodical and not emotional.
Right.
This is what. Let me also say that we spent 3 years. They spent 3 years investigating the president, impeaching the president. We can't wait 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks to get a result in our great sturdy democracy as to whom the next president will be. I mean, what is the rush all of a sudden? I think the rush is there was no blue wave, there was no early night, there was no democratic progressive realignment.
So those 3 clips showcase the absolute hypocrisy and incoherence of Trump, his surrogates, and his supporters as it pertains to counting the ballots or not counting the ballots in this 2020 presidential election. And so in that first clip, you basically had Trump before the election saying, just a few days before, that any vote not counted on election night should essentially be thrown in the trash, should be shredded, should be destroyed. Basically, that if the vote isn't counted by 11:59 p.m., it should be thrown out because it's invalid. We need to have all the results in on election night. And then the following clip from this morning was Trump's spokesperson, Kellyanne Conway, basically saying that, look, it could take 3 days, 3 hours, 3 weeks, whatever. We have to get all the votes counted, do it methodically, do it correctly, take the time needed because this is important. And then in the third and final clip, you had 2 groups of Trump supporters in different states and different cities. Some of them chanting stop the count, some of them chanting count the votes. And it depends fully, and this might not surprise you, on what would benefit Donald Trump. So in a state where Trump is currently losing, like Arizona, they want extra votes to be counted. And in states where Trump has a lead that's narrowing, like Pennsylvania or Michigan, where Trump has been reeled in, but where the vote count continues to disadvantage him, they want the votes to stop being counted. And this is followed up by Trump less than an hour ago as I record this, tweeting just a blanket all caps tweet, stop the count. This is utter insanity from Trump and his team and his fan base, his supporters. They don't know what to do right now. And it's very fascinating because I think their strategy was based on the fact that they might only need to contest results in one state. That hopefully everything was going to come down to, say, just Pennsylvania or just Michigan or just Arizona or just one state in particular, and that they could make one consistent legal and political argument about that state. AKA, we need to stop the count or we need the count to continue, whatever would benefit Donald Trump. But here, the hypocrisy is being, totally exposed because Trump needs to win all of these final remaining states, and what he needs to do in each of them are totally contradictory. Again, in Michigan, he needed to stop the count because as the blue votes come in from mail-in voting and from the cities being counted, generally they take longer to finish the biggest cities. That's put him behind. It looks to be happening in Pennsylvania. It might also happen in Georgia and maybe even North Carolina. But in Arizona and in Nevada, where Trump is narrowly losing, but there's still votes to be counted, there they are heavily urging for the votes to be counted. And while all of this is happening, they're also trying to throw out certain ballots. So in some of the states where they want every vote to be counted, they're trying to throw out specific votes. Like in Nevada, they're trying to argue that, some of these people don't actually live in the state, and so there's like 10,000 ballots that shouldn't be counted and blah, blah, blah. The whole point is the hypocrisy. They don't know what they're doing. And this is the final stage of a flailing president. I haven't called it yet. News networks haven't called it yet. But it really does look like Donald Trump is on his last thread on his rope because he needs to basically win Arizona and Nevada and Georgia. It's like he's got to win pretty much all of the remaining states Whereas if Biden wins Arizona, which he's currently projected by some companies, but not all, he only needs to win one more remaining state. If he picks up Pennsylvania, it's over. If he picks up Georgia, it's over. Like, Biden's paths are much stronger. And so while the Republicans might take solace in this election, that they're likely going to hold on to the Senate, Trump supporters in particular are losing their goddamn minds. And right now, they are a threat to democracy. Like, this is hilarious, but, and we should, make fun of Trump supporters for being idiots. We should. And we should make fun of Trump and his family and his surrogates for lying out both sides of their mouth on this issue. But we have to be real that we have Trump supporters bum rushing poll stations, bum rushing vote count stations, basically in some cases trying to break into them to disrupt the count, threatening poll workers, trying to get their personal information so they can stalk them. I don't know what the goal would be, but it's not, without nefarious intent, I would argue. And so this is a dangerous moment. What needs to happen is every vote be counted. Kellyanne Conway, I know she's being hypocritical here, and she's doing it because she thinks that this will help Trump in isolated cases, but every vote does need to be counted. It might take some time, but democracy deserves patience.